Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome. This is the Weekly Pint. It is, it's a happy hour. It's an excuse for us to all hang out together, have a drink, which I need a drink desperately. This has been a heck of a last few days. Didn't even leave the house today except to run my kids to all of their tasks. I'm wearing the same clothes I've worn for 2 days now. It's been interesting. We'll get to all of that, but it is a happy hour, which means we're supposed to drink together. So as you crack open a beer or a cocktail or whatever you happen to be drinking, tell us on the chat what it is, and I will share what I'm drinking with you in just a second. And then we'll talk about kind of whatever is going on in life and craft beer news, local craft beer news, whatever we want to talk about, because it's a happy hour. That's just what we do. We just hang out and talk together. But it is an interactive show, which means that if you're listening to this later on the podcast, you kind of missed out. It is a live event, 9:30-ish every Monday. You can hang out on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and all of those places that you like to watch your live streaming. Not that we don't appreciate you listening after the fact. Because it's interactive, though, you can call into the show. You can call in, I guess, afterwards, too, and leave a message, and we'll play it on a future episode of something. The drunk line is up here on the screen. If you're listening to the audio only, it is 567-70-DRINK. That's 567-703-7465, and you can call in that way. I think it all works tonight. I think I have the drunk line figured out again with this some new stuff figured out, hopefully. And then you can also jump on the chat, which you guys are all figuring out. And on the chat, like I said, tell me what you're drinking. Let's see. Marco is having a Neptune while he is cooking dinner. Josh just had a Tiger's Blood Astra. I still have not tried the Tiger's Blood Astra. And Julia is grabbing him something else. Steve is having a Bell's Oberon. I have not had an Oberon for a while. That was one of the news stories we were going to talk about a couple weeks ago. I should probably dig that back out to figure out what we should. Maybe we'll talk about it tonight. I don't know. Let's see. Julia got a Hazy Bay Day New England IPA from Street Side, and grabbed Josh a On the Clouds of Unknown West Coast IPA, also from Street Side. Joey is having a Wet Hopped Bodie. Oh, that's good beer. Eric is having the Hamilton Common, the Municipal Third Eye collab. I have still not tried that. I forgot about that. I need to get over and get my hands on that. Eric says, I love Oberon. Steve wants to know if there are any breweries to suggest in downtown Indy. It's been a while since I've been downtown Indy. Obviously, Sun King is down there. Always worth a stop. The place that we went to more than anywhere else, when we go there every once in a while to go to the Children's Museum, and the place we typically lean to is called St. Joseph, I believe. It's in an old church. It was good food, good beer, family friendly. My kids were fine there, which goes a long way in my household. Just keep everybody else happy so that I can be happy. That's the real secret to life. I'm gonna crack open a beer though. Got my Be Gnarly Drink Local glass, which is an extremely limited stock left. If you make it out to one of the live events this fall, be it Oktoberfest Quest Finale, which I still don't have a date on yet. Julia says, isn't Mezzo in Indy or close to it? I think it's close to it. I can't remember. Maybe it is kind of downtown. I can't remember. That might have been one of those places that the hours didn't work, or looking at the menu, the food there didn't look like something for my kids, or so. I don't remember now, but I've never been to Metazoa. I've had the beer and it's great, but I've never been there, so I can't speak for it. If you make it to one of the live events, be it Oktoberfest Quest Finale or Beer, Booze, and Bonks, I will have the last of these glasses available for sale if you want to grab one of your own, so that when we drink together, we can match. We can be twins. You can also get a hat that matches my hat. You could probably buy this shirt somewhere. You could probably go get this at MPH. And I should tell you what I'm drinking. Grabbed Urban Artifact. This is one of the small batch society beers. It is strawberry pina colada, brewed with a strawberry pineapple coconut. I believe this was like August, maybe. I stopped in to pick up my box from this month, and I had a box that I think was from 2 months ago that somehow got missed out on, I think, when I picked up beer last. I don't know. Marco says, I have that hat and glass. Julia says, new style of Gnarly Gnome glass coming soon. Coming soon. It's there's a lot of things that are need done. I haven't gotten them in yet. I haven't ordered them yet. But yeah, it's coming soon. Soon-ish. All right, let's go and pour this. It looks like one of those kind of milkshake sour kind of beers. It is not that. If you have never had Urban Artifacts beers before, you know that is definitely not what they do. I don't think it's going to tell me much on here. It just tells me about the Small Batch Society, which we can read if you don't know about the Small Batch Society. It says, Urban Artifacts Small Batch Society is a group for explorers. That's me. I'm an explorer. Each limited batch is dedicated to unique fruit tarts, which is what they call their beers now. They're fruit tarts. They're not beers. And the exploration of real fruit and food concepts. Our brewing team uses the Small Batch Society to test out future concepts, develop recipes around unique fruits, and bring back revered flavors from the past. And there's a little QR code for you to learn more. It is 8.4%. That should do the trick here. Let's see. Eric says, we keep missing Taxman's Brunch. They're up a bit around 46th. Yeah, I've heard Taxman's another one of those ones that I've heard great things about and just never made it. It's a story with a lot of places that, like, usually it's like it's a combination of hours or the menu is a big one with us when we've got the whole family, and you know, my kids are small children and they're very picky, and if they don't have the very specific thing that they've decided they want that day, they're going to throw a fit, and then nobody enjoys themselves. I have been to, where else have we been? A Big Lug Canteen. I don't remember how close to downtown that was. It was, the food was great, but the beer was not very good. I've been to, what's the place? There was a place right on Fountain Square downtown there, the Scotty's. The three Wise Men. I don't know if it's still open. Three Wise Men, Scotty's. Can't remember what they call it, what the actual brewery is. I think it's just a tap room there downtown that serves the beer along with a bunch of guest taps. I can't remember. It's been a while since we've been there. It was good though. We liked that. All right, I'm gonna drink this beer. It is not the prettiest beer that I've ever looked at. Although when I'm looking at it on the camera, it doesn't look that bad. But in person, it's just kind of like a murky pink. I think that is the first time that color has ever been said. Murky pink. Oh, it smells good though. Yeah, I get all of those flavors, or aromas, I guess. I get the strawberry. I definitely get the pineapple. Not a ton of coconut, but it's definitely there. Julia says, does Ram still exist? I think it was a restaurant brewery and not just a brewery. Ram definitely still exists. I don't know if it's still open in Indy, but yeah, it definitely is still around. It's like a chain brew pub that I think there's a bunch of locations around, I believe. Yeah, I can definitely get behind that. I love strawberry beers, especially when they're good. Brew Link in Indy, I highly recommend. I've never been there. I always love that part of like traveling out somewhere where you get to just try new places. Julia says, went to their downtown Indy location forever ago. Their amber inspired my friend's nickname, Buttface. I think I have somewhere down here in the basement, I have like a menu from the Ram on know if it's on the door coming down or on a wall. I don't know. There's so many little things around the basement, which is one of the things we'll talk about tonight. There's lots of things around. I did finally really start working a little bit. So I've been, I'm not going to call myself a hoarder, but I'm a collector of things, especially Cincinnati beer things. And years ago, I thought it was going to be a really cool idea. This was right when MadTree first started canning their beers, and it was really exciting that here's not just a local brewery, like an Ohio brewery, that was canning craft beer. That was a novel thing at the time. They were the first ones in Ohio to put their beer in cans. I was going to collect all the cans. I decided that whenever somebody released a beer in cans, I was going to save it. As a kid, my dad collected old beer cans, like vintage beer cans. I don't know what happened to that collection. I would love to get my hands on it. And I thought it would be kind of cool to do a similar thing. So I did. I started collecting the cans. It wasn't that crazy. Back then, you could get you could get all the releases fairly easy. You just go get them. And this was back when this was back when all of the cans were printed cans. So they were ordering a bunch of them. There was not. It wasn't like there was weekly releases of different beers in cans. You had your core beers, and then seasonal stuff would pop up. Then Rhinegeist started canning, still not that crazy. Eventually, it started getting a little bit more difficult right around the time that Listermann started canning their beers and started doing, monthly releases of the hip-hop series and stuff. And then from there, it was just downhill. Then it turned into me not really running around trying to get everyone because it was just not really possible. I tried to stick to kind of most of the regular releases or just something that kind of caught my eye or whatever. Point is, at this point, there are hundreds upon hundreds. I don't want to even venture to guess how many cans are in my house and in storage and things. But point of all of this, I finally sat down and I've been thinking about it for a while and trying to figure out what I was going to do about this because there's just no way to display them all. At some point, I will be opening up an actual a studio space, which is a while in the future still, but I was thinking about doing a whole wall in the studio that is just all Cincinnati beer cans, which I thought would look cool, but still so far down the pike that I decided it was time. And so I'm shifting the collection. I'm saving only cans that actually do mean something to me somehow, or things that are just, it has to be a really, really cool design, which I don't know what that would even be, or lager. I'm saving all of the lager cans, and my collection will be Cincinnati lager beer because I'm a lager nut. So that's where we're kind of focusing the collection to narrow it all down. So I spent a big chunk of time this weekend pulling labels off of cans because I am saving a lot of the labels for a project that eventually maybe you guys will see. The rest of them, and I'm pulling the tabs off. I'm going to donate those to the Ronald McDonald House. The rest of them are getting crushed, which is strangely, on one hand, it's painful to be wiping out this collection that has been saved for so long. On the other hand, it's kind of neat. I mean, it's neat to actually go through all of them one by one, pull all these cans out of storage bins and stuff, and remember some of the beers, and then crush them. It just feels strangely good, but it is neat kind of going through everything. And as I've been kind of going through them and organizing and sorting and peeling and crushing, I'm realizing more. Like, oh yeah, I had cans stashed over here. Oh yeah, there's cans stored over here. There's just cans everywhere. In every little nook and cranny in our house, there are cans stashed away, like a squirrel waiting for the winter. Um, so that's one of my big projects that I've been doing. On top of that, uh, uh, on kind of the me side of things, my car broke down again. That was fun. My car broke down. It was like the beginning of this year, late last year. Um, got everything fixed. That supposedly got everything fixed, and now we have the same problem happening again. So it is currently sitting, waiting to be fixed. So I don't have a car right now, which is very stressful too. Just trying to get around and get work done and things like that. Without a car. So that's been fun. That's also why I didn't really go anywhere today, and why I'm still wearing the same clothes I was wearing yesterday because I don't have a car. So where am I going to go? There's that. Then this has been. It was probably, I don't know, a month or two ago. I noticed a small wet spot on my ceiling down here in the basement. Which is nothing out of the ordinary for this house. The house was built in the 60s, so there's just always something that needs fixed. So I kind of kept an eye on it, and then it dried up, and I didn't see any more water. Okay, that was weird. Maybe something got spilled somewhere upstairs and just dribbled through. All right, well, it's possible my kids are always pouring water into weird spots. Then this weekend I saw it again and realized that we gotta dive into this project. So spent a bunch of the night last night just cutting into the ceiling behind the bar, which is just the most painful thing in the world to do. Even more painful than crushing cans. Just knowing that the repair is always 10 times worse than repairing the damage that you're making while you're trying to fix the problem is always 10 times worse than fixing the actual problem. So there's going to be some new remodels happening to the bar, which is why the bar never actually gets finished, because of all of these stupid things that just keep popping up. So that's kind of been my weekend and my week so far. Just a little sprinkling of chaos on top of everything else, which, if you know me, is not that shocking. So on top of that, all of the work, prep for beer, booze, and bonks is well underway. We have a very good brewery list almost put together. We're about, I don't know, maybe 2/3 there with that. And then some of the beers are figured out. Some of them are, we're still going to wait to talk about once we get closer to see what kind of things sound good. And then Oktoberfest finales. It's gonna be a Mad Tree. I feel confident saying that. They've confirmed that they want to do it there. We're still just trying to narrow down a date and kind of what it's gonna look like there. So stay tuned for that. I promise I will have some more news, hopefully this week. I was really hoping we would get it done today, and we didn't, but hopefully this week we'll have final information on all of that, so you guys can put on your calendar, and I can then spend the next several days just drinking a ton of Oktoberfest beer, because I still have all of those rounds to get through to get to the finals. In addition to me drinking a bunch of Oktoberfest beers, you guys are going to have something important that you have to do also, because we have to vote in a loser, a non-winner, I should say. The losers bracket, there gets to be one voted back in I think the third round. I have to look at the thing, which I guess I could. Stuff's right in front of me, but that's a lot of work. So we'll need to get that figured out. So that's been kind of my focus lately, is trying to get all that stuff done and organized and all of that. Let's talk about a couple things. There's no big news this week. I might set it up to where you don't have to set up multiple accounts, I might just let you vote as many times as you want if you want to go through the hassle of voting multiple times. If you want to go through all of that work, then maybe you deserve to vote more than once. Okay, I make the rules. Who cares? I don't really have a lot of big news stories. There hasn't been a lot of big news this week that I'm aware of. But I do have a couple. These are more events that I really want to talk about, a couple of things that are happening that I think are really fun. And we'll start it off with one that I'm really, really hoping I can get to, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to. And that is the Fresh Hop Festival, the Ohio Fresh Hop Festival out at High Grain. If you guys have ever listened, if you've been listening for a while, you know that I'm a wet hop beer nut, in the same way that I am Oktoberfest, and in the same way I am lager and English milds and things. I guess I do like a lot of different styles, but wet hop beers are the only true seasonal beer, as Dave Volkman likes to tell us, and I tend to agree with that. And this is a celebration of them. There are a lot of really great wet hop beers this year. I've had a couple of them around just as I've been kind of hanging out. The description that High Grain put out says that almost every beer made in the world uses dried hops, which typically, geez, I can't even do that. Does this mean I'm old when I can't see the words anymore and I have to make them bigger before I read it? Almost every beer made in the world uses dried hops, which are typically taken to a drying kiln, baled, and sent to a chilled warehouse after harvesting. However, fresh hops are never dried. When the moment of perfect ripeness arrives, Ohio hop farmers call breweries and tell them their hops are ready. Brewers fire up the mash tuns and dispatch a truck to get the beautiful green hop cones to the brew within hours of harvest. Each minute the hop is separated from the vine is crucial, so the closer the hop farm, the better. Tickets for this are anywhere from $20 to $45, depending on how many tasting tickets you want. So there's a top tier where you get 10, the smaller one you get 5. They all come with a pint of beer too, and I think some of them come with a T-shirt. One of them comes with glass, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but go to High Grain's social media, and there's a link there where you can get your tickets. The breweries that will be represented are High Grain, Rheingeist, Columbus Brewing, Little Fish, 50 West, Mad Tree, Northern Row, Nine Giant, West Side, Brink, Street Side, Narrow Path, Little Miami, Lebanon Brewing Company, the Cincinnati State Students have made a beer, and then Fibonacci. Yes, sign me up all day long. This is the type of event that I like. I love something that celebrates part of beer that we kind of sometimes maybe ignore a little bit more than we should. Oh, that's good beer. Wet hop beers. They are, to me, that earthy side of hops, I think, lend a lot to kind of the fall feeling of a beer. I'm trying to remember. Where did I have a wet hop beer the other day that I was surprised to see it? Oh, I was at Braxton, and they had a wet hop IPA on tap that I didn't know they brewed. That was really good. It was it kind of leaned in more towards like a hazy New England kind of beer, which you don't see a lot of wet hop beers that lean that way. Usually it's a little more West Coasty, and it was good. It was fun to drink. So check that one out. Next event, and this is another one that, oh man, I'm hoping I can get to. Joey says, listening to Garrett from Streetside talk about the logistics and complications in brewing wet hop beers was interesting. CBC's Yakima Fresh is considered the best wet hop beer in Ohio, in my opinion. I won't argue that. No, the fun thing about wet hop beers is a big part of it comes down to how fresh you get those hops. the experience of a wet hop beer adds to the whole thing. Like there are some really great wet hop beers around that just don't have that magic to them for me. If you have a brewery that's close to you and they get hops from a hop farm that is also close to you, like bringing all that together into one event and having that beer, that's where it starts to get really fun. But yeah, logistics of wet hop beers are pretty nuts. When they really kind of started in the United States, it was the West Coast because that was the place where hops were being grown, and like it was just that speed of like just literally just pulling them off and then turning around and driving them right to the brewery, which still happens. I know, again, Dave Volkman, Ohio Valley Hops, does that still for some of his breweries just to get them there super fresh. It's fun stuff. Anyways, next event, another one that I really, really, really want to go to, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to, especially with no car. That makes it a little difficult. This beer dinner, though. So this is kind of a celebration of the recent medals that NarrowPath won at GABF. Huge shout out again to them. But they teamed up with Tano, which is a restaurant there in Loveland, to put together this beer dinner. Tickets are only $65, which is an insanely good price for what this dinner looks like it's going to be. If you can't read the stuff on the screen, which if you can, good for you. I definitely can't. I will read it off here. We have the warm welcome. This is the welcome beer, so you get there while you're kind of mingling around and talking to everybody, saying your highs and everything. They're doing a horseradish cheese sauce with waffle fries and chives, and that is paired with the Kolsch of the Golden Trail, a German blonde ale. A Kolsch, a 5% beer. Okay, yep, that sounds fun. Waffle fries with cheese on them. Sign me up. The first course, oh God, this sounds so good. Candied bacon, a spicy peanut sauce, a baguette, paired with a salted caramel amber ale, 6%. It is brewed with sea salt and caramelized liquid sugar. Okay. You see where I'm going with this, right? Second course, crisp romaine, oishi shrimp. I don't know what oishi shrimp are, but I assume it's some kind of a shrimp. Prosciutto, roasted bell peppers, and pineapple vinaigrette, paired with their Restless Seas Goza. Come on, this is just oh man. Third course, grilled teriyaki glazed duck, a spicy maple sweet mashed potato, buttered poached broccoli, paired with the barrel-aged Oud Bruin, 9% beer. Yep, it is a tart brown ale with notes of dark cherry and oak. If you've never tried the sour beers, like the barrel-aged sour stuff from Narrow Path, they've positioned themselves right into this spot of being one of the best producers in the city of barrel-aged sour beer. Really, really good stuff. And then for dessert, there is a flourless chocolate torte, vanilla banana cream pecan Michigan cherry, paired with Mounds of Importance. That is their big coconut chocolate milk stout, kind of a combination of Third Eye's milk stout with Narrow Path's coconut porter. That's just the price on it is what gets me. $65 is a really, really good deal for this dinner. So would love to get to that. I doubt I'll be able to. That's the problem. I think it falls on a Monday, October 9th, which is next Monday. So at 6 p.m. That's right in the middle of crazy time when we're picking up from dance class, trying to get to cheerleading, so many things happening, all these moving pieces that if I just tell my family, sorry guys, I'm gonna go to a beer dinner, I think it would be upset. But what do I know? Maybe. I do have a beer dinner coming this week, which we talked about last week on the show. If you missed that one, it is the Chimay Belgian beer dinner over at Taste of Belgium, which, man, I'm excited about it. I've been obsessing over Belgian beer for the last month or so. Just any chance I get to drink it, I'm just kind of consumed with it. I don't know if it's just because I'm also drinking so much Oktoberfest that it's almost like this other thing to kind of balance that out. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely in my head, and I'm enjoying that. That's all I got for you tonight. Just a couple events and just kind of the chaos of what's going on in my life. If there's anything that anybody wants to talk about, though, feel free to jump on the chat and tell me. Hopefully everybody listened to this week's episode of Cincy Brewcast, where we were live out at Sonder and Friends Oktoberfest. If you have never listened to any of those Oktoberfest episodes before, you're missing out. They're always a blast. I'd recommend, especially with this one, watch the video of it, because it kind of adds a whole other side to it, of beers being spilled and fighting over microphones and all of that. Yeah, the video is great. And we'll definitely be back to do that again next year. Julia says, I think the Oktoberfest episodes are my favorite. I love the reaction to the intro this week. I completely didn't even catch until we hit record on the show that the music that I added in for the Brewcast part of the intro was the old intro music. I didn't even use the new intro music. I was going to fix it, and then I just didn't have time. Motors Brewing Company says plans for Sunday. We'll pick you up this Sunday. Motors Brewing Company car and bike show fundraiser for Pink Ribbon. Yeah, but Sundays are another crazy day in my house with family stuff. However, I would love to get Motors Brewing Company on Cincy Brewcast sometime. I know we kind of talked about that off and on over the last years. I've never really been able to make it happen, but we need to. That would be a good episode. We need to go sit down and talk about everything you guys are doing and let people know everything about you. So shoot me a message and we'll set something up. And it's probably a good time of year to do it too. I've got a little bit of wiggle room in the next couple months before things start getting crazy again. It's just one thing after another. If anybody has not already or hasn't started looking at it, Beer Booze and Bonks is back, and tickets are on sale. If you go to beerboozeandbonks.com, you can find information about that. Let's see. Fun random Cincy distribution fact. Moved from Oakley to the Mississippi Gulf Coast here in June. I was happy to see Urban Artifact on grocery shelves and bar taps down here. I love that. They are definitely the most widely distributed brewery in Cincinnati. They you can get them in like France or something. I remember that's pretty crazy. Like they're all over the place, and it's always nice to see that. It used to be that Rivertown was like that, where you could go on vacation somewhere and you would randomly see a Rivertown beer tap somewhere, and it just kind of surprised you that it was there. Urban is definitely filling some of that that fun. The difference with them is just, well, maybe not even the difference. I think that that niche kind of product, the fruit tarts, is something that there's not a lot of places that are doing. Definitely not a lot of places that are doing it to the level that Urban is, and definitely not a lot of places that are doing it to the quality that Urban is. So there's a lot of people that are just happy to get their hands on it. So it's not shocking, but it is fun. I wonder if you were on vacation somewhere and you stumbled across Urban Artifact in a bar. Do you order Urban Artifact because it's cool that Urban Artifact is there, or do you get something else because you're on vacation and you want to try to drink local? That's I don't know which way I would go. I guess it would depend how much I'm planning on drinking that day. Julia says, how much do you think the impending government shutdown will impact breweries? I don't think too much. I think that obviously it'll slow some stuff down, but it'll be fine. They'll get it figured out, and breweries will get their stuff figured out. Hopefully everybody was anticipating it coming, and things that they needed to get approved, they got approved, or they're just going to kind of do their thing and ask for forgiveness. We'll see. I imagine that there might be some. Well, I don't know what that brewery opening list looks like compared to breweries that are open. I know with the COVID shutdowns and stuff, there was a big backlog then of breweries that were trying to get approval to open their doors and stuff because nobody was out doing inspections or things like that for so long. But I don't think it'll be that bad. But I'm no expert. All right. We'll be back next week. And I mean, I'll be around in the meantime. Hopefully I will get a video posted. I would love to get it posted tomorrow. I stopped out at Urban Artifact. Speaking of Urban Artifact, stopped out there to try their new lager they have on tap, which is delicious. But it's got a couple really crazy things about it that they haven't really talked about or publicized that I want to talk about because it's pretty neat stuff. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow, but you know how that goes. Sometimes it just doesn't work. I usually try local to my vacation spot, but if it doesn't hit my mark, then I have to pick from larger craft brands. That is typically the way it goes, isn't it? All right. Thanks, guys. We, like I said, we'll be back. Thanks for hanging out. Tell all your friends. That's how you support the show, is by sharing it with people. You can also support the show by going to thegnarlygnome.com/support. That does help, too. Julia says, sign up for the... she's trying to get people to run things. That sounds dangerous. Running is how people hurt themselves. All right, we'll be back next week, guys. So do you just run around the park a whole bunch while you're drinking? Isn't that what you guys do every Tuesday? I think that's what you do every Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it's